Hey, Christine here. Apologize for how I look right now. I just woke up. I have to work nights and I'm fighting an awful amount of back pain. So no, I didn't bother getting really dressed up on this. Um, I wanted to talk today about Etsy's recent decision regarding the selling of spells and intangible goods, which people have been putting under the title of service. I'll give you a little bit of history of my thoughts on Etsy. I recall when Etsy was supposed to be specifically handmade goods. If you went as far as a service, that was essentially a commission to make an item. You didn't sell things like tarot readings and things like that. That's not a handmade good. I'm kind of really particular about the idea of what handmade or handcrafted is. I've done in my years a lot of juried craft shows, and that's where I have to pass a jury of artisans, submit my photos and everything else before I can even be accepted into having my work at a particular craft show. So I'm extremely particular, and I'm also very fussy about what I consider handcrafts. If somebody comes in, and this has happened, where they have a gel candle that they're selling, okay, fine. So they take a little packet of little gel cubes, and they have a lineup of plastic figures, and they have a lineup of glass globes, and you pick out what you want, and they assemble it in front of you and hand it to you, and that's a handcraft. No. No. When I was at a show that happened, and it had been a juried show for years, and they dropped the jury part to get people in like that, I was pretty insulted. And that's kind of just me. Handcraft is supposed to be that you're putting some sort of effort in it. Now, whether the effort is good, bad, or ugly, that's another thing. But just throwing that stuff together is not an effort. So what has happened, and eBay had gone this route. eBay said that things like spells were not to be sold anymore. And it's the reason why they did this is like some of the items that I had seen that were on eBay for quite some time. Some guy had taken a really, really cheap, base metal, got it out of a gumball machine necklace, and claimed that it had a vampire spirit that he had trapped inside of it. And so you were paying for this vampire spirit that was going to enhance your life. And he was selling that for $300. And the frightening part was it had bids. So eBay said enough is enough on that. Well, Etsy has gone the same route, and I am glad that they have. But I've noticed on comments about Etsy's decisions on this that people have said, oh, about freedom of religion, and when are they going after the Christians and stuff? I'm sorry, if a Christian is on Etsy and claims that they're selling a prayer, and the prayer is going to do this for the person that bought it, then yeah, they actually fall under the same guidelines. This is not a freedom of religion issue. This is Etsy trying to clean up their act. Etsy initially was about handcrafted goods and has gone a far way away from that. I mean, now they accept prints and things like that, which is fine because there's a lot of artists like me out there that want to be able to sell more than just the original. Jasmine Beckett Griffith does a fantastic job with this. That's how she makes her living, but those originals are her work. That's a different matter. But when you're taking something that is not a tangible item, and saying that it's going to have a specific effect, like, well, I'm selling this spell, and when I do it for you, you're going to have this happen. The potential for fraudulent activity at that point is extremely high. And they're trying to cut down on that because you have to be able to prove that that spell is actually going to have that effect before you can claim it. It's just like an FDA rating on a pain pill that cannot say takes care of this pain if it does not take care of that pain. And that's what Etsy is saying at this point. I'm still not a fan of selling tarot readings online. I understand that mom and pop shops, the brick front stores, are no longer viable for a lot of people, especially for how much rent now costs to hold a brick and mortar. So to make a living, okay, people have moved to online with that. But then the reason why they're perusing all of these tarot readings is if you don't say that this is entertainment, or that you are just going to do this, to just entertain your customer, and you turn around and say that you are predicting their future, they have a right to come back to you and sue you for the money because you made a claim. And you have to be able to back that claim. And Etsy does not want that kind of behavior on their site. This, again, is not a religious issue. You can sell wands. You can sell amulet bags. The fact that, I'm selling wands, they're not at all affected by this. Because while, I'm saying people believe this about this stone and this wood, this is the use of this when, concerning spells or the historicity of a particular item, that's one thing. That's not me claiming that this is going to do it. This is just me saying this is what the meaning of these generally are. And so it doesn't affect me at all. And it's not a religion issue. Like I said, a Christian is going to fall under the same thing. Etsy is not going to turn around and say, well, can't sell wands anymore, can't do this anymore, can't sell bags anymore, can't sell little tiny bags with bundles of herbs in them anymore, things like that, because that's going to cut down a lot of Etsy's business, because that stuff does sell, as long as the person is not making a actual claim about it. If you're claiming that this is a handcrafted item, they're not going to complain about that. But if you claim that this is going to bring healing for somebody's pain, or this is going to get rid of their nausea, just by praying on it, whatever, you are making a claim. You have to be able to back up. And any Christian's going to fall under the same thing. That would be like turning around and telling Christians that they can no longer sell a handmade crucifix on Etsy. This is not going to happen, because it is a tangible good. There is a difference between something you can hold in your hand that has been made by an artisan, which this is one of my pieces I'm working on, or, and this would not be on Etsy. This would be more on eBay. But, to claim that this is going to have a specific effect in somebody's home, no. But if you're selling the item and say, well, the general meaning of amethyst is, okay, that would go a different route. It'd be the same as me going on Etsy and saying that I'm going to send you this blessed feather and it's going to increase prosperity in your life, and then sell it for buku bucks. No, I can't make that claim. I can say, here's a feather and you can use it when you have a stick of incense and smudge it around, and here's a little piece of paper describing how to do a smudging ritual. That's a different matter. Still, to me, questionable if it's handcraft or not. I don't think it is, unless I actually do something to the base of this feather. If I add leather and do beadwork on it, then yeah, it is a handcrafted good. Tarot readings, I still question. I don't think Etsy is a place for tarot readings. Again, it kind of goes away from what Etsy is supposed to be. eBay is another matter. eBay is kind of like a really massive garage sale. Etsy is supposed to be about artisans and crafters. Doing a tarot reading is not a crafter, and I'm sure some people are going to be a little perturbed at me about that, but that's the way I feel about it. So hopefully you gain a little bit more understanding of what Etsy's decision is. And you can't really claim freedom of religion on this matter either, because Etsy is a private company, and they have a particular business model. And if people are selling items on there that do not follow Etsy's business model, they're going to say you can no longer sell this item. And that is within their right. They're not violating anybody's religion. Your religion of Wicca does not say you have to sell spells online. You can sell kits with instructions how to do spells. But to actually sell the spell on Etsy's site, no. They are a hosting service for selling items, and they can say what can and cannot be sold on their site. Religion has nothing to do with it. Freedom of religion has nothing to do with it. This is a private company. That would be like me walking into a Catholic church and saying, okay, you guys are doing my pagan wedding, and if you don't, then I'm going to get the ACLU on you because you're refusing to host my pagan wedding outside with your priest, and you're providing the service for me. They're a Catholic church. They don't have to. That's not within their guidelines. So you see the similarity here. It's not a freedom of religion issue, and people need to stop harping on this part. It is an issue about fraud, and it is an extremely high potential of fraud if you lay claim that a spell is going to have a certain effect on somebody and then it doesn't. And that's what Etsy is trying to prevent. And if you can't understand that, I'm really, really sorry. You probably should be looking into selling other things online. And yeah, some of this I've sounded kind of snarky on this video, but this argument's stupid. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the part that prompted me really was the whole freedom of religion thing. Because it's not. That's not the case. So kind of get over it. I know that sounds harsh, but that's the case of it. So anyway, I have stuff to do, including more chainmail. I'm covering a book with my wedding book with it. Going to have the wedding invitation inside the cover. I'm going to be doing the whole book in leather and have blank pages in there for people to sign as the guest book right in the front. And then I'm going to take the other pages and alter them. So I'm actually going to dig through some of my old books and find one that I can gut the cover off of for this. But yeah, it's a long project. My fiance had mentioned that we were going to do this, and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't realize how much work he goes through when he's making a shirt or a dress or anything like that. I mean, I've seen him, but it's a different concept when you're doing it on your own. So anyway, that's it. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Blessed be.